Welcome ladies and gentlemen to a new Call of Duty Warzone Season 6 video. In this video we're going to go over the top 10 best guns in Season 6 right now. I do want to mention a lot of this list can change going into the future of Season 6, as currently a lot of the guns are overpowered. On top of that, you might not agree 100% with this list, and that's absolutely fine. Let me know what your top 10 list is down in the comments. Before we get into the details, we know that the majority of you watching this video are not subscribed to the channel yet, so if you want to see more videos like this, or if you want to see weapon comparison videos, or anything Season 6 related, hit that subscribe button and follow us on Twitch. Coming in at number 10, we have the Ram 7. Now the Ram 7 has really grown in popularity recently because of a lot of big streamers using this gun. But if you want to use the Ram 7, there's a couple of different class setups I would recommend for it, and I'll show you that just now. So one class setup you can use is the medium range class setup, which you should pair with a sniper rifle, and that would have the monolithic suppressor, the Eclipse barrel, so not the longest barrel here, but we have the Eclipse one, and then the Commando foregrip. You want to use the 50 round mags, and then also you'd want to use the stippled grip tape. If you want to use the class setup that most of the popular streamers are using, then change this to the Ranger barrel and then add on either the Corp Combat Hollow Sight, or you can add on the VLK optic instead of the stippled grip tape. And those are the two best class setups for the Ram 7. Now, one of the main benefits to using the Ram 7 is that it has one of the fastest time to kills inside the game, and it shoots at a really high fire rate, so it's a really powerful gun to use, especially at close to medium range. At number 9, we have the best LMG in the game at the current moment, which is the PKM. Now, to have the best class setup for the PKM, you need to use the 25.9-inch heavy barrel. I prefer this over the extended barrel because I feel like it has a little bit less recoil. And then you can use the monolithic suppressor, the snatch grip, which is of course very important, and the optic I'd use here is the Corp Combat Hollow Sight, and I'd customize that, the reticle, to change it to the blue dot, and that's going to be very important to make sure you get the cleanest sights. And then finally, in terms of stock, you want to add the close quarters stock on, and this will give you the best balance between recoil control and also aim down sight speed. Of course, the movement speed on an LMG is going to be much slower than what you get with an assault rifle, but like I said, this is the trade-off you get to having a high damage weapon like the PKM. At number 8, we have one of the most popular and reliable SMGs inside the entire game since the game's launch, which is the MP7. Now, the MP7 can be run in two different ways I found very useful, and the first way I'll show you here is probably the most popular, which is the medium range setup for the MP7. So that's the mono suppressor, the recon barrel. You want to use the Merc, or you can use the Commando foregrip, or even the Ranger foregrip's a good option here, but I think the Merc foregrip is the best option because it gives you a little bit of hipfire accuracy as well. Then you want to use the 60 round mags. Now at this point you can choose different attachments, so I usually stick with the stipple grip tape, and that's because I like the iron sights on the MP7, especially if you use one of the blueprint models, but you can also change this for an optic or sleight of hand. Now the benefit of this build on the MP7 is it gives you the longest possible range, especially when you use the barrel equipped with the monolithic suppressor, so that is the benefit of using this class setup. Now for the second class setup, you want to take off the recon barrel, and you also want to take off the stipple grip tape, and what you want to do here is you actually want to change to a no stock attachment, and you also want to add on the 5mm laser. Now another quick change you can make to this to make it even better at close range, this is going to give you the maximum mobility possible. However, the Merc foregrip no longer gives you a movement speed boost, and that's why a lot of people tend to stop using it. So you can actually take this off as well, and then change the barrel back to the longest barrel just to make sure you get extra damage range instead. Now of course this will slow down your movement speed also, but at least you're getting a benefit from it instead of just that hip fire accuracy. So this is probably the best movement speed and hip fire build for the MP7. At number 7, we have again one of the most reliable guns in the game, and it's not really changed much since the game's launch, which is the M4A1. And I'd really recommend this gun, and I love using this gun as well. It has one of the cleanest iron sights in the game as well, so if you are using guns without iron sights, the M4A1 is definitely the best option. So of course you want the monolithic suppressor here, you want the commando foregrip, this is going to help with recoil stabilization. You also want the 60 round mags, you can also go 50 if you really wanted to, and then I'd recommend using stipple grip tape. Finally, the last attachment is personal preference, but the M16 Grenadier barrel does control the recoil the best, and that is definitely a fact. If you watch JGod's video on that, it shows that the Grenadier barrel is better than the Corvus Marksman, but I do also like the Corvus Marksman because it gives you a slightly faster aim down sight speed, so if you want to use that, you can also use the Corvus Marksman, and then change the 60 round mags to 50, and that will give you a little bit extra movement speed boost. But like I said, the best overall class setup would be this one here, which is the Grenadier barrel with 60 round mags, stipple grip tape, commando foregrip, and monolithic suppressor. This is all round one of the most balanced weapons in the game. It gives you a good balance between time to kill, mobility and movement, and also damage range. So the M4A1 is a clear good option for a lot of people, and that is why it's one of the most popular and widely used guns inside Warzone. At number 6 we have currently one of the most overpowered guns inside Warzone, which is the SPR. Now the SPR is the new sniper rifle or marksman rifle that came out with Season 6. I'm going to show you the best build for it. A lot of people are actually getting this wrong, and true game data has shown what the best build for the SPR is, and I'll show you that just now. So if you're using this for Warzone, you want to put the monolithic suppressor on there. Now it's not for the damage range, it's only just for the suppressor factor. You then want to add on ammunition. Now you can either use the 338 ammunition or the 300 ammunition, it really doesn't matter. This is what makes your gun hit scan, and it's letting you do that through these two mag attachments. So it doesn't really matter which one you choose, I just choose this one because it also gives you a damage boost and a damage range and bullet velocity boost, whereas the normal mags don't give you a damage boost. On top of that, you then want to use the feather bolt assembly for a faster chamber speed, and it gives you a faster fire rate as well. You do not need the longest barrel attachment because it doesn't actually help at all, because it's the ammunition that actually gives you the hit scan, not the barrel. So at that point you then want to change your optic to either the solo zero optic, or you can use the variable zoom scope. It doesn't really matter which one you use. I prefer the solo zero because it just gives you a slightly faster aim down sight speed, so I choose this one. If you want a slightly longer zoom, you can use the variable zoom, it doesn't really matter. After that, then you want to use the tac laser because it gives you the fastest aim down sight speed possible, and this is the best class setup for the SPR 208. Now this will get nerfed at some point and this class setup could change, but at the moment this is the best one to use. There's no real reason to use a HDR, AX50 or Kar 98 because this has the fastest aim down sight speed as well as the longest damage range because it's absolutely hit scan. At number 5 we have the ASVAL. Now I'll explain exactly why I have the ASVAL at number 5. So first of all, I'll show you the class setup. So the class setup for the ASVAL is the Merc foregrip, ammunition, you definitely need the 30 round mags, and you also need the 5mm laser. You also need the skeleton stock, and finally the perk I'd have on here, which is definitely a must, which is sleight of hand. This is the best class setup for the ASVAL in my opinion, and this is a very good replacement for the MP5. The reason why is the time to kill is so low on the ASVAL, is one of the lowest time to kills on a fully automatic gun inside Warzone, and it is a great replacement. A lot of people tend not to hip fire with the ASVAL, but I've tested this quite a lot inside Plunder and find that you can actually hip fire with this pretty well and take out even 1 to 2 opponents. So anyone who's telling you can't hip fire with the ASVAL, you definitely can, and I highly recommend it. So if you use the Merc foregrip paired with the 5mm laser, you'll get the tightest possible bullet spread for hip fire, and this is what you want to be using. Now the skeleton stock gives you the fastest movement speed possible, and we all know that the mag size on the ASVAL is terrible, so you need the 30 round mags on there to make sure you're getting the biggest mags possible, and then also sleight of hand so you can reload really quickly when you're in gunfights. Like I've mentioned in all my previous videos, you do not need to set up the ASVAL for an assault rifle build, you should be setting it up as an SMG. This should have just been added into the SMG category, it would have made a lot more sense, but even though it's not, it doesn't really matter, you can still run this as a secondary weapon. Before we get into the top 4 best guns inside Warzone Season 6, make sure you subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this, and also like the video if you're enjoying it so far. At number 4, we have one of the lowest TTK guns inside Warzone, which is the CR56 AMAX. Again, a lot of the pro players are using this gun at the moment, and I found the best possible build for this, so I'll show you that just now. So we have the Zodiac barrel, which gives you the longest possible damage range, of course. Mono suppressor again, which is very important. You also want to be using either the Merc foregrip, but what I found that works out really well also is the Operator foregrip. This controls the recoil slightly better in my opinion than the Merc foregrip. And then you can change the mags to 45 round mags, and the optic you want to use, you can either use the Corp Combat Holo with the blue dot, but I prefer the VLK. Now, one of the downsides to the CR56 AMAX is that the ADS speed is very slow with this setup because there's no attachments helping that. But when you shoot at enemies, this gun is going to fry them so quickly you wouldn't even realise you shot them in the first place. Something I would recommend to you is actually pairing this CR56 class setup with the previously mentioned ASVAL class setup, so you can have the ASVAL as your secondary weapon, and then you have one of the lowest TTK setups in the whole entire game for fully automatic guns, and you can shred through enemies so quickly that you won't even realise you're doing it. At number 3, we have a gun that I'm not a huge fan of, but it is just one of the best guns in the game at the moment. And now that the Origin has been nerfed, this has definitely taken the number 1 spot for the best shotgun inside Warzone, and possibly the best close range weapon inside Warzone as well. The attachments you want to use on here is the choke for the muzzle, you want to use the sentry for the barrel attachment, you want to use the 5mm laser, and what all these attachments are going to do so far is give you the tightest possible bullet spread when you're hip firing along when you're aiming down sight. And then from there you want to be using the stipple grip tape. It gives you better aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed, and you do want to aim down sight with this gun because it controls your pellets even more. And then finally, the best attachment you need to be using is the Dragon's Breath rounds because it does damage to enemies even over time with the fire shots. Now, like I said, the benefit to using the R90 shotgun is that this has the lowest time to kill out of all the close range weapons inside Warzone. If you're using it at longer ranges, of course, the R90 is going to be completely useless, but within that 0 to 10 meters, this gun absolutely destroys any other gun inside Warzone. At number 2, I then put the MP5. Now the reason I put the MP5 as number 2 is that you can still use the MP5 at close range and you can also use it at medium range as well. A lot of people still use the shotguns, but forget the fact that SMGs can be still used at those slightly longer ranges, and that's why the MP5 is more versatile. And with the class setup I'm going to show you here, it's the best setup you can use at the moment. So you're going to use the monolithic integral suppressor. This gives you longer damage range as well as suppresses your weapon. Also, you use the 5mm laser. You also need to be using the 45 round mags, which is very important. And then after this point, a lot of people would stick on the Merc foregrip, but again, this reduces your movement speed now. It doesn't actually help with your movement speed. And the 5mm laser already gives you that hip fire accuracy anyway. So what I would do here is put on the collapsible stock, and then I would also put on the sleight of hand attachment, so when you are reloading mid gunfight, you're not caught out. But like I said, you can add on the Merc foregrip if you need it, but I feel like this is the best class setup to give you the fastest possible movement speed. And if you don't like the way the MP5 looks with the collapsible stock, you can then not do that either, and you can add on an optic, or you can even add on stipple grip tape if you want to aim down sight even quicker. But like I said, my favourite class setup for this would be this one here with the collapsible stock, the 45 round mag, sleight of hand, 5mm laser and integral suppressor. Like I said, the main benefit of even using the MP5 in the first place is its movement speed. You can find yourself moving so much quicker with the MP5 than any other gun inside Warzone, so adding on that underbarrel attachment with the Merc foregrip is only going to slow you down, and that's not something I want with my MP5. Finally, at number 1, we have the Kilo 141. Now this has been the best gun in the game for a while now, but it's not completely overpowered like the Grau was or even the Bruin was, but this is really the best gun in the game for long range gunfights. So the best class setup for this is pretty obvious now, so you want to use the Prowler barrel, monolithic suppressor, VLK optic, but you can also use the hollow sight with the blue dot as well, the Commando foregrip and the 60 round mags. Now this is the best attachment for the Kilo and you shouldn't be using anything else. This is definitely the best gun in the entire game. The recoil on the Kilo is so easy to manage that anyone can really use this gun, and especially the fact that it's the first gun you unlock as well just makes it a lot easier as well, so you would already have this leveled up even if you're a new player. So that's it, that's the 10 best guns inside Season 6 Warzone at the moment. If any of these guns do get nerfed, I will leave a pinned comment down below, and the list might change of course, and we will make an updated video in the future. But if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave us a like as it helps YouTube recommend us to more people, and also go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're new, and thank you very much for watching.